About 1400 years ago, when the Quran was revealed, people thought that only humans and animals on earth had genders or were paired as male and female. Even just 100 years ago, scientists didn't know about gender diversity existing beyond humans and animals. But surprising all the world's greatest scientists, thinkers, researchers, and philosophers, the Quran revealed this truth. Music glory be to the pure and mighty one who created pairs, each producing offspring on earth and within themselves. And there are things they still don't know. As stated in the verse, the word Ajwaz comes from the plural form of Zawj, which means pair or companion. That's why in Arabic, a husband and wife are called Zawj and Zawja. This word shows that within the same thing, there can be opposites that are still companions or pairs. In the Quran, to explain the concept of creation in pairs, Almighty Allah mentions 3 pairs. First, a pair that comes from beneath the earth, meaning plants also have male and female parts. Second, pairs exist within themselves, referring to humans who are created as male and female. Third, pairs exist. What they don't realize in the end, the audience doesn't fully get what this pair means that we don't know about. Back when the Quran was revealed, people only knew a tiny bit about this vast reality of creation in pairs. For them, pair mostly just meant the difference between male and female. But this verse in the Quran carries a much deeper and broader meaning that they weren't aware of. Now, thanks to advanced research and technology, we know way more than they did back then. Every particle on Earth, even atoms, are made up in pairs. And atoms aren't just made of protons, neutrons, and electrons alone. Its structure is actually much more subtle, complex, and precise. Modern physics has shown that the smallest particles of atoms come in pairs. For example, every proton has an antiproton counterpart. Every electron has a positron counterpart. Similarly, every neutron has an antineutron. When these pairs come into contact, they annihilate each other and release energy. The idea that matter is made in pairs is one of the most important discoveries in modern physics. British scientist Paul Dirac won the Nobel Prize in 1933 for this discovery. Dirac's discovery is known as parity, and through it, scientists learned that every particle has an opposite counterpart called antimatter. Antimatter has properties that are the exact opposite of regular matter. For example, a normal electron carries a negative charge, while antimatter's electron, called a positron, carries a positive charge. A regular proton is positive, but an antiproton is negative. According to a principle in quantum physics, every particle has an antiparticle with an opposite charge. This also ties into the uncertainty principle. These pairs exist and don't exist at the same time, happening everywhere and always. This continuity of pairs isn't just seen in physics, but also in biology. Something we only recently discovered, like the structure of DNA. Thanks to scientific progress, we now know that DNA has base pairing. Adenine pairs with thymine, guanine pairs with cytosine, bore these findings in physics and biology show that pairs exist even in things they didn't know before, proven by modern science. The information about this was preserved around 1,500 years ago, which is why the famous Turkish scholar Said Nursi, he said, "The older time gets, the younger the Quran becomes."